got a couple things to mention since the last time we spoke. We hung out. Um, got a new plane cue, new braking cue. Both are a company called Spartan. Who the hell is that, you might ask? Well, they are a high-end Chinese company, much like uh, if you're familiar with guitar, there's a lot of high-end Chinese guitar makers that are making some of the best guitars in the world. And I'm sure if I knew about other industries, I could speak to those. But definitely pool. It's the same thing. Some of the best craftsmen in the planet of certain things are in China, and they make obviously it's cheaper than the same kind of thing that you get in America. This handmade fancy cue in America might be $2,000-$3,000. Theirs are under $1,000. So compelling price point. But if you understand the craftsmanship that's coming out of there, the top end stuff is great. Same thing with Mexico. Mexico is awesome right now. Some of the best manufacturing in the world is done in Mexico, and for a quarter of the price that it costs the Americans to do it. What that means for our country is a whole other subject, and I'm not going to get into that here. So this is I got my brake cue. It's called brake. This is a conical. These are carbon fiber. This is just a standard, pretty basic butt. This is black to match it. Conical taper, which supposedly, or I guess in reality, not just supposedly, does provide more power. It feels a little different. It feels like a bar cue. So if you play with bar cue, you know what conical taper is. It starts, this one's I think about 13 millimeters. I think it's pretty much just like a bar cue, and then it goes up and up and up and up and up and up, and it gets thicker and thicker right here. But awesome cue. I got this one as a refurbished, returned item. So if you go to a Pool Dog and you look at these, and I got a Tiger icebreaker tip with it, which is awesome. I'd never used them before, but it actually holds chalk. You can see that there's actually chalk on the end of it, which most phenolic tips don't do. So that's a great tip. You can actually use some underspin, a little top spin, left. What if you were trying to be fancy with your brake? But more importantly for me, it's just getting that center ball or right below center ball hit. And then if you're off a little bit, it compensates for that. So this thing's amazing. I think it's great. And then my plane cue is I don't know what their the names of these different ones are, but if you look on Pool Dog, they got a few different Spartan models. This is the one with these triangular inlays with abalone, just a fancy word for river clam. And then the points, and these are stainless steel. And this is just stained Canadian maple, I'm sure. And then they got down here, nice joint, and this is a 12.75. And then this is the Pro Taper, like everything is these days. So 12.75, and I think it's I used to have my other plane cue that I replaced this with is a 12.5 Mucci with the Pro Taper, and I like that 12.5 feel. This, even to this day, it still feels a little bit fat in my hand, just because I'm so used to that 12.5. This 12.75, it doesn't sound like a lot, but for me at least, it's enough that you definitely notice it. Thankfully, it balances it out in the sense that this makes more balls go where you want them to go, which is a lot more important than how it feels. This is the thing that you got to get over with this whole thing. With carbon fiber too, it's another thing. You're like, listen to this. You hear that? Especially this one. I don't know if that they didn't put enough foam in it or the foam deteriorated down. I don't know. but it sounds like a hollow piece of plastic. And if you've been playing with wood your whole life, it's an adjustment, and some people are never going to adjust to it. They're just going to be like, it sounds like a fucking hollow, shitty piece of plastic. This one, I don't think is quite as bad. This one, but yeah, you hear it, dong, 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 dong. It sounds like I'm hitting on a hollow tree. That's what they are. They're hollow pieces of plastic. So once you can get over that, then they play. Obviously, it's all subjective. Nothing plays better or worse. But for my money, the thing is a good carbon fiber shaft, not these cheap crap shit off of Temu and Amazon or whatever, but like a legit, Q-Tech, Predator, Spartan, um, you know, everybody's got good ones. Lacassi, McDermott, they all got the high-end, really well-made, something that somebody actually cared about making, carbon shaft. It's better in the sense that it puts more energy into the ball with less effort, which to me means I can be more accurate because I'm not trying to have to hit it as hard on hard shots. And that's basically it. I mean, if you don't care about that, then you can just use wood. And also, with this, I can do that and not worry about putting dings on it and stuff. So it's, I don't have to worry about leaving it in your trunk of your car, living in Iowa where it gets 120 degrees and then 30 below in the same year. So, all that stuff. But you guys already know that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to play a game of 8-ball here, see how she goes. Not a terrible break, kind of a crappy cue ball. Oh, another one there. All right. That actually was pretty good. And I don't normally care what went in, as far as, what I'm hitting, but I'm just curious. So we got 2 solids and a striper. And then this thing can come off. All right. And don't really have a shot on the solid, so don't really have much of a choice, do I? All right, my opponent is 1 ball ahead of me. Oh, I hooked myself on this shot too. Fuck. Way to fucking start off the rack. Let's see. I'm playing, just switching opponents. And the thing that I find helpful about switching, that it took me forever to figure out, and I don't know why, is that you need to think about it realistically. In other words, play safeties. Because when I used to first just play, player A, player B, I was always offensive everything, and I never played any safeties, and I don't really know why, but it took me a long time to just drill it through my head that, like, if I was at the table and literally I was playing against somebody that I really, really wanted to beat, or I had money on it or whatever, like, what is the shot that I would do? And that's a hard thing to get your mind into when you're... Yeah, and if you guys didn't already know, these are 5-inch pockets, so my friend Andy calls them, calls them slutty pockets. Those, you just got to get it close, and it'll drop in. Oh, not like that. All right, what the fuck am I doing here? 14 ball corner. Come on, get the hell off there. Yeah, I'm just, as you guys can see, this is just my typical life. You know, an 8-ball is just not proper planning, just kind of letting things go to the chance a little bit too much. Not, just working on my, I work on my cue ball control. That's definitely the thing that is my weakness, is controlling where exactly the cue ball is going to for my next shot. Because I can make shots okay, but okay. Well, I screwed my break up there, so I'm going to try another break out here. I'm going to see if I hit this with some underspin and slide over on that 12. I'll just miss and miss everything. And now, that was a stupid shot. That was really dumb. Okay. You can't dwell on it. When you're on your next turn, you can't dwell on the dumb thing you did when it's not even you that's playing. But like I was saying, I think that's the hard thing about it, is switching instantly, your mentality in your head, like, okay, whatever happened, like, boom, I'm on to the next shot. Like, I don't care about what the last guy did wrong. In fact, I want to make his life as difficult as possible. So I think this combo is in order here. We'll try the 12 now. Come on. Why? But, see, I gotta look at the bright side. Like, wasn't a great shot, but look what I did for my opponent. So these games obviously take a lot longer than if I was just, playing as aggressive as possible like I used to play, because I would just, I'd try an impossible shot and I'd leave it easy for my opponent. Whereas what I'm trying to do is the exact opposite of that, which is I only want to take the shots that I have to, and if they're not there, I want to leave my opponent difficult. So you run into these games by yourself where, somebody was watching you play. I didn't want to do that. That was stupid, especially with this big post here. But yeah, if somebody was watching you play by yourself, it would be kind of embarrassing. You'd be like, what is this guy doing? But, as I've told people many times, I have my dad and some of my friends to thank for not having the ability to be embarrassed, because I used to get embarrassed. And you're around enough people doing enough insane, wacky, crazy things, you just gradually goes away. Bam! There we go. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.